All right, here we go, take two. As I wanted to do a from the beginning live stream here of me messing with my thing, and well, of course, I didn't have my signal path complete, so I'm going to start over. So the one thing there's a couple of things I'm changing here, but the thing on the pedal board at least is I'm adding the Deluxe Memory Man in. Every time I take it off of there, I miss it. Now, in the case of this, I also use the Memory Man. I'm going out of the direct out into the rest of my graphic effects, and then into the stereo channel 3 on the SSL 6. See if I can set that up. So, and I don't have it set up yet. I haven't even listened to it. And then the effect out of the Memory Man, the Deluxe Memory Man, is going into channel 1 here, so I can take advantage of the channel strip. I can use the mic pre, I can use the inline compression, as well as the EQ. Now, I might still add a modeler after or in between the Memory Man and that channel 1, but right now I'm going to see if I can get away with using the channel strip to build the sound as kind of my. It's not a dry because it's got the delay on it. I might be fine with it like this. I'm not totally sold on amp modelers. But when I used to mic up my amps, this is the way I like to split my signal. I would have the center channel set up like this. The Memory Man going into my center, which is just my tone shaping, and then that delay, and then the dry signal would go through the rest of my graphic effects. And I haven't even messed with channel 3, so the stereo out of my channel effects, or my graphic effects, are going into channel 3 here. And we'll see how they blend together. Now, the other benefit of doing it this way is I'm going, well, it has nothing to do with this, but the other thing I'm trying here is on my SSL2, I'm going in at line level instead of instrument level, which means that I can use the mic pre's on the SSL as well. So I'm a little curious as to how that impacts my sound. Now, I do have all my post-processing going right now. We'll have to see. Hang on a second here. Let's move myself around here a little bit. We'll have to see if I like that better, or if I have to mess with my post-processing. I don't really trust the meters in Prism Live Studio, but I still pay attention to them. And right now I'm pushing the red line, that's for sure. I have a limiter though that shouldn't let it. So I'm guessing the signal I'm seeing is at the input, not the output. And I'm listening to it. I'm monitoring out of the interface. So, and I can monitor out of the computer here, but there's too much latency. So I'm just gonna have to trust my levels. So this Memory Man is Analog Man modded. There's 3 mods he does. Sorry, I don't remember what the 3 are, but this one's got all 3 of them. I really like the way this one sounds. But it does not work in every environment. So I gotta watch my levels as I'm going through this stuff, as well as decide whether this is all, well, so I've got 2 compressors before the Memory Man, so I don't have to worry about the noise floor too much, but I do have 2 compressors going after the Memory Man. Channel 1, I've got the line compressor, and I'm just trying to compress the peaks. I don't want to do too much here. Let me see if I can change this camera angle so you can see what I'm doing here. It's a little too much there. There we go, just a little bit. And then on the back end here, I'm going to use the bus compressor to take a little more off. Again, just the peaks. little bit. I don't know, however, I like to EQ it between B and D range right here is where I tend to peak things out. So that's the only reason I'm playing there. But I think in a general way, there's my levels. Okay, and so far the Memory Man is cooperating. Sometimes if you hit it with too much signal, now if you look, I got the signal turned way down. Because like all Memory Mans, they love to overload. But I think I'm acceptable with this because I'm not going to turn it off. I want this to be my always on. Okay, so I'm going to mute that. Or actually, let's just PFL this. Oh no, that'll turn everything off. I can't hear anything if I do that. So let's just mute that channel. Bring that up. So now we're just hearing the stereo channel. Now the other thing this is why you don't always see the Tomcat Cloudy on my board, is the way stereo is implemented on it. For instance, if I turn up I like the reverb on it a lot, but as you can hear, it's largely in the right side, so I don't even waste my time with it. All you really need is a light spring. I've got a little light spring reverb I can add in here, and I've already got the spring reverb on the Dream 65. So again, direct out of the Memory Man, Microcosm, Layers, Onward, Tomcat, Cloudy, Galaxy, Dream. The only reason why I have these two swapped around is because the UA pedals are a little too big. They bump into each other, so it just made more sense this way. Okay, seems like an acceptable level. I'm not getting too much compression. All right, this is both. All right, let's see if the delays are timed together well enough. Pretty surprisingly. I don't know why I always tend to gravitate towards that 93 BPM. Another one of those ones where I thought I'd be goofing around with this thing for friggin' 40 minutes before I got it working, but I guess it just dialed in okay. Aside from maybe getting the mix together and getting a little jam going. Now what I am seeing here, I am redlining a little bit. Let's back that off. Still redlining. Yeah, for some reason the right side's a little stronger. There's not much I can do about that other than take it that way. See, this is the weirdness that's the Tomcat. I have controls of the inputs and outputs, and there are internal trims, and I've messed with them all multiple times, but I can never quite get it to behave. Yeah, it's definitely not that. Let's try doing it right on the interface. Dial back that preamp. Interface is almost out of reach where I have it. just dialing back the preamps and the interface. It's way bigger than I typically like it, but all right, let's see how it's looking in the software. Basically, I'm just checking the signal at all the different points. Left side might be just a little weaker than the right. That looks pretty close. Okay, so here we are. I'm getting a little boomy. I'm already dialing back. If you look at the EQ on the delay out of the Memory Man, I've already taken out a bunch of bass or low end. So that's where, so I have a number of different options for EQ here. First option is the Centavo, and yeah, I'm one of those guys that uses the Klon-style pedals as a tone shaper. I don't even really use it as a boost, to be honest. And I'll tell you what, I'll be the first guy to admit, every time I have it on there, I wonder why I'm wasting the real estate on it. But every time I take it off, I miss it. So, okay, fair enough. Whatever happens when you're using this EQ on there, does it. So when it comes to one of these, there is a little switch on it. Let's see what that does. That makes it worse. Just making sure I'm not redlining anything. I think that's just channel gain. A little too much compression. Okay, so my next option is obviously the Equinox. Now I've messed with this thing enough to know where I like to sit with it. So I don't think there's much I can do with the low end on this unless sit. That's way too rumbly. contour. Now, typically I have the Para EQ here, the Para EQ Deluxe from Empress, but I kind of got infatuated with that idea of the Pultec EQ, and that's what this Equinox is. But the other thing that I use that nobody uses, and I still don't know why nobody uses it in this world of looking for magical unobtainium tone, like you can get one of these Sonic Stomp Pros, they're hand wired, and that's literally their job is to give you something of a sparkle that didn't exist before you to put it on. And let's see if I can illustrate that here, since I have a reasonable level. Okay, that's with. Okay. Now, as you can see, I've got, can you see it good enough? Yeah. So I've got the lows and the highs rolled off, and I've got the focus at noon, which is neutral. Should be neutral for a sonic maximizer if you're not familiar with them. Turn it on. There's just everything you want is there. Now, the other thing I can do though is this is like broader strokes. This is a little more focused. This is broader strokes, so I can back off the low contour and take that mud out of there just real easy. And I usually like the low end process, which is the highs, to be about the same. So I'll just let the highs follow the low contour. Now, what I'm doing by lowering those, by the way, is I'm accentuating the mids. Now, I'm not necessarily putting a mix together, but with all this crap going on this end of the board, all the graphic effects here, it's effectively got to have its own space in the EQ. Might just be a hint of rumble in there, but I've still got the presence of that low end, but it's not muddy. It might be a little muddy, but this is a 335. So there's a lot of beef there, so to speak. And again, remember the Equinox and the Sonic Stomp Pro are before the Memory Man, so both channels are receiving those changes I'm making. Alright, so because I took some of that low end out, compressors aren't receiving enough information to do anything, so let's give the channel compressor a little juice first. There we go. Now I'm seeing just a little peak compression, which is now sending a stronger signal to the bus compressor. All right, so I'm not peaking on the interface. So I'm not peaking at the inputs. I'm not peaking at the main out. You can't see it from here, but believe me, I'm not peaking at the interface. And you also can't see in my software. After my post-processing, I'm not seeing any peaking, so I should, even though I'm not monitoring on the back end. Back end meaning listening to it after it comes out of the computer. I'm listening to it before it goes into the computer. That way I don't get any latency. And I should say that even though I'm plugged into the SSL6, I'm sending the signal to the interface, and then I'm taking the monitor out from the interface and running it back into the SSL6. So I'm monitoring at the back end of the interface, not coming out of the output of the 6. So I can hear the changes I'm making on the interface. I just can't hear the changes I'm making in the software on my computer. But I think I got a sound here, so I might just turn off my mic here and see if I can get a little jam going. Let's see what happens. So one other thing to note before I continue here is the looper here is after the Memory Man's direct out. So while I just recorded my little rhythm there, and you heard the Memory Man, the loop did not hear it. So only thing that's going to be here in the loop, at least delay-wise, is the Galaxy, which I'll be curious as to hear how that sounds. Yeah, I'm peeking this out pretty strongly in this software. I might have to, on the next video, I might have to change that. Okay. Had the bridge pickup tone rolled off there. Sounded a little something. It had its own tone there. I'm going to see with the, now it's a middle position with both tone knobs, both volumes all the way up. Get that kind of interesting, I don't know, what is that? Phasing thing going on with the Memory Man? Oops. Sorry, went into A minor there instead of A major. All right, so I'd say came together relatively nicely. I'm not sure how much of the quote-unquote direct signal, the delayed out of the Memory Man, I want to keep. I think they're, I don't know, are they getting in the way of each other? Let's take it out of there a little bit, see what happens. Take a lot out of there. Here, let me move this so you can see what I'm doing. I took this baby all the way down. Since it's a direct signal, it's not going through a modeler. I think So what I used to do back in the day is I would take a microphone signal and we'll just pretend this is, since it's going through an amp and cab sim, and then fill in the direct signal just to give it some meat. Somewhere in there, let's do this without the gain. Fade out the loop here real quick. Somewhere around there, just a little lower. Fade in the loop one more time. Let's see what it sounds like. All right, I'm still on both pickups. Volume and tone all the way up. I think we're in the ballpark. Check my intonation either. So this is the other thing that's changed here is I played the same strings for, I don't know, over 30 years, which is the DR Pure Blues. I've had a number of sets with faulty strings on them, so just, I don't know, I'll probably go back to them, but right now I'm having a small boycott of them. Plus, these are flat wounds, from Dean Markley. What the hell? I forgot what the hell strings I'm playing. What are these things? Ernie Ball. So Ernie Ball, Slinky flat wounds. And again, I mentioned this in a different video I did. The big difference here is they're cobalt. Okay, I don't know if that means anything. These don't particularly sound like flat wounds, if you ask me. But the G is not wound. It's an unwound G string. So I think some of my intonation problems are just because it's a different string that I've ever used. Yeah, if I take my time, I think the intonation sounds right. I just don't think I'm entirely accustomed to playing on these, so you gotta adjust your touch to the way you intonate a guitar. And I have this intonated to the way I play the DR10s, the Pure Blues, the Nichols. Let's roll this off, see how it sounds. Let's roll off the bridge. This Tube Pilot is pretty damn good. I bet if you went on Reverb or even the used stuff on Guitar Center, I bet you could get one of those for $40. You have a 12AX7 tube drive, which it wants to be pushed hard. It doesn't want to be rolled off, but it still does. This isn't the kind of roll off I typically go for. But it works. That's the bridge rolled off. There's the neck. Full volume, full tone. I don't know, rolled it back about halfway. Got a nice warm. Still apparently can't play a chord. One of these days I'll learn. So there we go. So I achieved a couple things here. I'll start playing Kumbaya if I don't watch it. So a couple things I achieved here. I got my Memory Man back in there, my deluxe Memory Man. It's a 24 volt one. It's got all the Analog Man mods. I really love it. And it doesn't always work in my spacey ambient thing I like doing these days, but I think this is working. Again, going the delayed out into channel 1 on the SSL6, so I can use the whole channel strip. And then I'm taking the output of the graphic side through the Dream, the UA Dream, into the stereo in, which is channels 3 and 4. And I did have to friggin' dime the trim input, but that's something that can always be dialed in over time. I can probably push the output of the Dream to the input, but right now it's sounding okay to me. But that allowed me, on the output of the 6 going into the SSL2, to use the preamps in the SSL2, which I think sound great. So even though I don't have the preamps on channels 3 and 4 on the 6, I'm still able to leverage the preamps on the SSL2. Which is pretty cool. Had to do a little adjusting on the low end, but holy crap, if I can't figure out how to get the low end under control with what I'm sitting on here, I got other problems. But I think I got it under control. I don't know, I might want to try and open up that top end a little bit here at some point. And I think now that I have that direct signal in channel 1, it gives me a little opportunity to kind of remix my graphic effects down here. I just like them working in the background though, just kind of reacting to what I'm doing, which is cool. So I don't mind, but if you look, oh no, never mind. I'm still triggering the layers. Layers is kind of finicky, by the way. I haven't really done a video about my thoughts on this thing yet. Aside from the fact that it's pretty cool, it's different. The sensitivity is a little tricky. I like to just trigger it once in a while. And if you look at the way the lights light up, I'm not triggering it constantly, which is cool. It's a good companion to the Onward. And I could probably, yeah, see right there, I'm still cooking something on the low end. Not that I'm going to sit and do that all the time, but at some point I'm going to want to look at what the hell I can do to take care of that. Cut a little more low from that end. But in any case, there we go. You always wonder how well it's going to work out when you make a somewhat significant change, but it seems to work out okay. I'm a little curious to see how this sounds once I'm done recording. So if you sat through it this far, congratulations. But in any case, if you've sat through it this far, hopefully you got some ideas from my little experiment. So have a good one. Till next time.